Good morning, YouTube. July 20th, 8:22 a.m., 2024, year of our Lord. So I was watching a very, very interesting video called "I Didn't Know Whether He Was an Angel Pretending to Be Homeless." And the guy in the video, it's a homeless man preaching through the car window to a guy who's videotaping it. And he says some really profound stuff in it. And one of the things he said really stuck with me. And what that was how for you to really, really appreciate something, you have to come at it through loss or sacrifice, hard work, things of that nature. He says he didn't know what he was capable of until he went through some of the hardest moments in his life, and how it shaped him. And it's profound. I mean, I just on that thought alone, I think of the trials and tribulations that I've been through in life, and they have shaped me tremendously. I mean, I think oftentimes I forget the lessons I've learned, and I'm grateful for the times that I came out the other end of a lesson, a tougher, better, more well-rounded person. So, with that said, is it no wonder that you see a guy like this on the street being so humble? Maybe he's been tested for a long, long time, and maybe he knows what he's capable of, and maybe he knows what really matters in life. A lot of questions can be answered through struggles like that. So he talks of wanting to be a preacher, and at a young age of 6 years old, he didn't realize the price he would have to pay to be a preacher one day. And he speaks of a quote, it might be a scripture: much wisdom, much grief, much sorrow. That's a very poignant comment. You learn through grief, through heartache, through frustration and failures. You learn so much. But if you can make it through the fire, much wisdom, much grief, much sorrow. There ain't no other way that you're going to get it. We see so many people with that scowl on their face, that concerned look and everything. And it's because everybody's trying to figure it out. We're all out there trying to figure it out. And it's not easy. You have friends and family and all these other distractions out there pulling you away. It becomes difficult, especially when you're young. It's really, really hard to understand. But if you can make it through it, you're gonna be gold. You're gonna be better than you were before. You made it through the fire. Folks don't want to go through the fire. They want the easy route. They want to win the lottery so they can go to the beach in Jamaica. They're scared of the hard work. But if you wait and you're patient, God will exalt you. It's the wanting the money, the fame. It's trying to get it so fast. The career, the car, the big house, and everything. And when you get all that, you realize that it was the journey that was special. It's the life, little innuendos, the little things that happen through life, through the journey that make it special. You hear people that have become wealthy by their own means and their hard work, and they speak of the days fondly where they slept in crummy apartments or on one little mattress. That's all they had in the entire apartment, or maybe their first office was their garage or something like that. You become to relish those moments and really appreciate them. They create who you are. But folks are in a hurry to get there. They're in a hurry to get to that destination. And like I said all along, it's the journey that's special. We see people achieve their goals and they're like depressed. They're like, oh, this is it. I made it. What now? And they're depressed. And without, like I said, looking back and realizing that it was the journey that was so special. It was the journey you were putting in all the hard work on. The destination is the end thing, and it has its own uniqueness and special qualities, job well done type of thing. But at the same rate, it's impossible to have without putting in the hard work. It really is. It's a feeling that's unachievable by any other means than hard work. This man goes on to talk about how he was under a bridge, and there was a bunch of people there, including a homeless man who was pushing a shopping cart. And he tells how he went and talked to every single person under the bridge, and except for this man in the shopping cart, he went to him last. And the man in the with the basket said, "Don't you ever, why did you come to me last? Why did you come to me last? You should have come to me first." He said, "Don't you ever ignore a homeless man pushing a basket. You don't know who that person is." And he told the story of how you react to strangers, that you never know who a stranger is. A stranger could be a fallen angel testing you, that the least among us is the greatest among us. And then he goes on to talk about how it's his duty to testify this stuff that's happened in his life. That it's our duty when we go through these trials and these tribulations and our prayers are answered and our goals are achieved. It's paramount that we recognize and we testify to other people the strength of God in helping us achieve that. Help us achieve it through a means which we don't want to go through, right? We don't want to take the hard road, but oftentimes that's the way we have to go. It's just not about us. It's a blessing in a way when you're chosen to go through something difficult. I often think of this comment I heard about if you pray for strength, say, "Lord, I need strength to get through this," He'll put you in a situation that'll build your strength. If it's something like, "Lord, I'm terrified to get up in front of these people, and please don't make me do it. Please find a way that I don't have to do it." whatever the case may be, chances are you're going to have to do it. And you're going to have to way through that tough portion, And when we do, we got to tell people, yeah, I was in the same boat. I was scared there too. But, I had faith, and faith got me through it. It's really important that we share those messages of success and spread the word, quite frankly. He says this wonderful thing, like, how are you going to tell about the grace of God if you've never had to go through it? How are you gonna explain to someone the grace of God if you've never been shown his grace, right? So don't feel so picked on. He goes on to say how he, because of that, knowing that God's using him to testify and share his testimony and stuff, he goes on to say how he doesn't pray for himself. He prays for everybody else. He prays that he has his share for the day, enough to get through, and the same for others, And that's all we can ever ask for. In our darkest moments, our deepest, painfulest moments, we're just wanting to get through. Lord, please get me through this. Please get me through this. Please, I won't do this again. I won't do that again. I'll do this, but please get me through it. Yeah, it's an experience. Be humble. Take what you need for the day and no more. Be more representative of the things you talk about. The things you talk about, how to get through things. If praying's your thing, well, show folks how you pray. Tell them you're praying for them. If getting out there and doing X, Y, or Z matters to you, well, testify about it. Testify about how you volunteer and how it makes you feel good and how it's doing good. Share the good in the world and acknowledge God in all that you do, right? And when you do wrong, acknowledge it. Ask for forgiveness. God knows we're not perfect. Literally, God knows we're not perfect. He gave his own son to relieve us of that burden. Forgive and get it off your chest. Get it over with. Get it out of your life. Forgive, and allow folks to forgive you, and forgive other folks. It's a two-way street where we're all trying to figure this out together. There's no manual. Closest thing we have of a manual is a Bible, and people can pick that apart as they have for centuries. And sometimes God will corner you. He'll corner you in a place where you got no place else to go but him. And when that happens, embrace it. God's chosen you. He wants you in his kingdom in the end. And the best way to do that is doing what he asks of us here on earth right now, the golden rule, do unto others if you had done unto you, God shows his love oftentimes by correcting us, right? You may correct a drug addict by having him OD and nearly losing his life. Maybe that's the correction. God shakes you by your cage, just shakes the living dickens out of you because he wants you so bad to be in his kingdom. Recognize that that's happening to you when bad things are happening. God believes in you. He believes in all of us. He believed his son could withstand the torment that he withstood in his life and his death. And he believes the same in us. We just have to believe it in ourselves as well. God can take your life, and there's been often many times in my life where I felt that was coming, that death was right there for me. And it wasn't there for God, you know. He wanted to show me that he could bring me to the brink of life and then save me, and then correct my path. That's just how powerful he is. That's just how powerful we are as individuals. He puts that will within us. We just have to decide that we want to live that way, that we want to experience these things. But I'll end it there. The video goes on some more with some more real charitable things done by people in the name of God. But don't be afraid. I think a lot of people are afraid that, you know, they're gonna give their life to God and their life to Jesus, and that their lives are gonna just become instantly boring and dull, and not in the least. You know, let God work through you, and recognize that he's working through you, and you'll find purpose. You know, I was searching for purpose for a long time, and I started making these flags, and I realized that people got a lot of joy by giving these flags out. And for years, that's what I did. I made stuff, and if somebody commented on it, I tried to give it to them. One of them was this young lady, her husband, their family. It's a young family, husband, wife, and several kids. And they got a little farm stand and everything. And I made a flag, and she commented on how nice it was and how much would I sell something like that for. And I didn't comment. I said, Julia, here, take this over to this, you know, family. And she did. She took it over to the farm stand and gave it to them. And that's just the way that I can show God's love, right? You know, he was the one motivated me to do those things. He was the one that gave me the power, the creativity to make those kinds of things. And I felt really good giving them away. And I usually had a conversation of why I made it and what it's made out of and where it came from and everything. And I tried to connect all those dots. And that's just a way that I felt that I moved within, you know, what God was calling me to do. But I think a lot of times folks are scared. They're scared of having to be, you know, this ultra conservative, you know, tight ass or whatever, but it's just not the case, you know. It's about love. It's about growing as an individual. It's about growing as a community. There's so much good to offer. There's very little, there's no negative, I would say. I would say if I were to die and none of this stuff were to be true, and that what I believe in to be true, if none of it was, so be it. I live my life basically the same anyhow. I strive to be the best I can be. I strive to be gracious and humble and compassionate. Those aren't bad things, you know. I never put somebody under the pin of religion, you know. Oh, because you did this, it's against my religion, so I can't talk to you. I don't believe in that. I believe those are the people exactly who we should talk to. And the more that we surround ourselves with those types of people, the greater our gift, the gift that God's given us, becomes. More opportunity. It's like preaching to a choir. Yeah, the choir needs to hear it once in a while, but you ought to be preaching to the people that need to hear the messages, that haven't heard them before. You know, let your testimony be like the fact, the motivating thing. You know, I was able to do this through my faith. You know, we just need more of it in this day and age, and we need not to be so ashamed, as I think oftentimes people are, to be Christian religious. But those are my 2 cents. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I hope you folks have a great day and a great weekend. Thanks for hearing me out. Bye.